Jamari had never been more embarrassed in his 15 years of life. He had just walked into Halston's General Store, a locally owned market with creaky floors and dusty shelves, when he felt it, that invisible weight pressing on his shoulders. He glanced back and saw the shop owner, Mr. Halston, trailing behind him, eyes narrowed, pretending to rearrange candy bars. Jamari wore his school hoodie, his backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds in but volume low. He knew the drill. His mom had warned him, always keep your hands visible. Don't run, don't touch unless you're buying. But still, just looking seemed suspicious enough. He turned down the snack aisle. Mr. Halston turned too. Jamari reached for a bag of chips, then paused. Something I can help you with? The owner asked, arms crossed. No, sir. Just looking. Uh-huh, Halston said, not budging. You sure? Lot of stuff tends to go missing when boys like you wander in. Jamari blinked. Boys like me? You know, backpacks, hoodies, that crowd. Jamari's stomach turned. He set the chips back on the shelf. I didn't take anything. Well, Halston said, edging closer, I'm just keeping things tidy. Store policy. Jamari clenched his jaw. Right. He walked out, empty-handed and humiliated, his chest tight. He didn't run, didn't yell, just pulled out his phone and texted one person. Mom, can we talk? An hour later, Tamika Grant strode into Halston's General Store in a cream blazer, designer handbag, and heels that echoed with purpose. Her presence shifted the atmosphere like a thunderstorm in a quiet town. Mr. Halston looked up from behind the counter, ready to recite his greeting. Good afternoon. Welcome to... Are you the owner? Tamika asked, voice calm, direct. Yes, ma'am. John Halston. My son, Jamari Grant, was followed around your store earlier today. You implied he was a thief. Care to explain? Halston's smile faltered. Oh, I don't think that's how it happened. I mean, I didn't say he stole anything. I was just watching him. Store protocol. Interesting, she said, because he didn't buy anything, wasn't holding anything, and yet you followed him like a shadow. That's not protocol. That's profiling. He looked away. Look, ma'am, sometimes we have to be cautious. We've had some incidents. With who? Teenagers who look like my son? Or black teenagers who look like my son? Silence. Tamika reached into her bag, pulled out a folder, and placed it on the counter. I'd like to make an offer. I've looked into your store's value, recent profits, and your debts, which, by the way, are sizable. I'm prepared to purchase this store today. In cash, Halston's jaw dropped. Wait, what? I run a community investment fund, she said. We acquire and restore small businesses in neglected areas. You clearly don't understand how to treat your customers, so I'll relieve you of that burden. He stared at the paperwork in disbelief. You want to buy my store? Yes, she said, because people like my son deserve better. This place will become something different, something welcoming. Halston opened his mouth to argue, but then, seeing the offer number, stopped. An hour later, the deed was signed. Tamika handed the keys to Jamari, who had just arrived with wide, unsure eyes. You own it? He asked. We do, she said, hugging him. And starting tomorrow, we rename it Grant's Market. You'll help me run it. Employees were stunned. Neighbors gathered as word spread. Jamari stood behind the counter later that day, watching as Halston exited with a box of his belongings, not meeting his eyes. The next week, signs were repainted, walls refreshed. The once watchful cameras were repositioned, not to track shoppers but to protect them. And behind the new register, Jamari wore the same hoodie he had been profiled in, but this time with a name tag that read Jamari Grant, co-owner.